Welcome everybody to episode 4 of the TVRealm podcast. I'm Max Zambrano. Alongside me is Sarah Stockdale.
Hey everybody.
And today is Saturday, September 17th, 2011. And today it's also a very special day. We are starting our first season of coverage for Survivor, and we're starting the 23rd season, South Pacific. So Sarah, what do you have to say about the season so far?
It's pretty good. I mean, it's not the best season I've seen just from the opener, but it looks like it's a okay cast. They resemble a lot from Nicaragua, as we were saying in the episode where we announced the cast. But I think it was a pretty good episode.
Right, and it's only the first episode, and it's sort of still judging a book by its cover sort of thing, but I think that it was a pretty good episode. I mean, we had a lot of information in there that we're going to cover in today's podcast. And, are you ready to jump into this?
Definitely.
Okay, so let's go ahead and start out from the beginning of the episode when they introduced Coach and Ozzy. Now, you weren't here the last episode. Cola was in your position because you could not be here, but what do you think of Coach and Ozzy being on this season?
I think that they're a pretty good choice. I mean, not as much hype as Rob and Russell because of that whole rivalry, but in a way they have similar game strategies. They don't have very good...
They have a social game.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have very good social skills. And so I think that going into this they have a disadvantage, but personally I like Ozzy a lot. He's a great player, he's athletic, and whereas Coach, he's a little less athletic and a little less strategic, but maybe this season he can turn it around. I don't know.
I thought from the opener that Coach seemed a lot different. Like, he wasn't the loony coach, and you didn't really hear anybody. We're going to exclude Rick from the beginning of the episode when he called Coach the weird idiot dragon slayer. But other than that, like, no one was really complaining about Coach.
Well, actually, they all kind of left him, except for Edna.
Well, yeah, do you think that could work against Edna? We didn't really see too much of that afterwards. But do you think it could work for her or against her?
It could definitely work against her. Like, people could have seen that and shown that she's not together with them. But, I mean, it was the very start. I don't know how that's going to turn out, if they'll even remember that.
And I think it could work for her, because Coach will remember that. And so they get kind of further in the game. Then he's going to remember that, and he's going to, like, trust Edna with honor.
Yeah.
And so, I thought Coach seemed a lot better. Like, he doesn't look like he's going to be the annoying coach from Tocantins and Heroes vs. Villains.
Yeah, the crazy, weirdo...
Dragon Slayer.
Yeah.
He's still going to be the Dragon Slayer. He said he was going to be that, but I don't think he's going to go extreme.
Yeah, he's just going to kind of have it as a state of mind, not live it.
And so at the beginning of the season, or preseason, I said that Coach would probably go to the end because he was going to be so loony that they're just going to take him in like Philip, but now seeing from the first episode, I don't think that's exactly true.
Yeah, he could definitely be a threat. If he does deliver on what seems like he's showing. But if he does go back to the old Coach way, he'll just ruin it, in my opinion, and it'll just not be as good.
Well, what did you think of the first challenge, Ozzy versus Coach?
I think Ozzy definitely had an advantage on the pole climb because he climbs coconut trees.
Right, but with the puzzle,
I think
that sort of even.
Yeah, I think that was more of a tribe thing because I think Ozzy's tribe helped him out more than Coach's tribe.
Or Coach is just a bad listener.
Yeah, could be that too.
We don't really know, like, too much about Coach and his listening skills, or well, he doesn't have a great social game, so maybe he doesn't have great listening skills.
Yeah.
So, any highlight of the episode that stood out to you?
I definitely liked when Ozzy and Coach came. I mean, we already discussed
Right.
that, but that was epic. Their reactions. I loved how Cochran already knew that each of them had played twice. It kind of showed that he was a fan, but that could work to his disadvantage. So
Exactly. Because they're going to know that he's such a big fan, he's going to have all the strategy probably down. But as we saw from the first episode, Cochran sort of seemed like a fish out of the water.
yeah, he acted well. What he looks like, a nerd and a big fan of the show. And I don't know if he'll be able to have the, I guess, brains and stuff to live up to that. But if he could settle down and actually talk to people without them thinking he's the nerd,
Or
he
without
could,
stuttering.
yeah, he could go far.
So, and now in the last episode with Cola, I said that Cochran would probably be second place. A couple hours later, I changed my mind. I said Cochran would win. Now I'm thinking he could be the next one out.
Yeah, he definitely didn't show any kind of strength or anything as in the physical aspect.
Not at all.
Yeah, he's very weak. At the wall, he just kind of hesitated, which they brought up at tribal council, and he just didn't show much strength at all.
Okay, so Cochran, I think if he survives like another tribal council or two, I think that he could be in for the long haul.
Yeah, I mean, if he can actually get alliances built, then I think that he can go far.
Okay, so let's move on to Dawn. She had a breakdown on day 2, and so do you think that this could work to her disadvantage, or and how much will it affect her?
I think that it will definitely work to her disadvantage because she showed a moment of weakness, and if it was in the real world, that may or may not be like perceived as weakness, but on Survivor, breaking down means that basically you're quitting, and that
Right.
usually doesn't help.
So, do you think that Dawn will recover fully and be back in the game, or do you think that this could be continuous?
I don't know. Judging from her personality, she seemed like Holly from Nicaragua, where Holly had a breakdown, I guess, in the first
On
couple
day
days.
5?
Yeah, on day 5. And she bounced back and got to, I think, Final 4.
Yes, Final 4.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe Dawn will be the same way, or maybe she'll go home next.
A lot of people have referred Dawn to Holly, but I can see that relationship. I mean, they even kind of look alike, but I think Dawn's going to have another breakdown in the next episode or episode 3, and they're going to vote her out.
Yeah, I can see that, but I mean, I also would have predicted that with Holly with Nicaragua. And once again, we're going back to Nicaragua. I think that these seasons are similar, except for the Redemption Island twist.
And the 2 returning players, which
Definitely.
is the exact same format as last season, which hasn't really happened before in Survivor, where they have back-to-back formats. I guess the last time this happened was season 1 and season 2. But that wasn't even the same because they had 3 extra days in season 2.
Yeah.
So, what about the challenge? What was your take on the challenge?
I thought the challenge was interesting. I think it was hilarious how it was like raining coconuts. That to me was hilarious. But I think that Semhar was the downfall of that challenge.
Exactly, and do you think that led to her demise ultimately? Or do you think it was probably kind of before the challenge, okay, Simhard kind of seems the weakest?
I think that was her downfall. Because I think if she hadn't failed at the challenge, Ozzy would have persuaded the others better to keep her in. Because she hadn't really shown too much of a, like, I guess, weak side. And Cochran probably would have been gone. But since she volunteered for that challenge and then totally failed at it, that was her ultimate demise.
One thing that kind of surprised me this episode was the ultimate votes, how they were cast. I was definitely expecting a way closer vote and even Cochran going home. But did the producers trick us by putting some scenes that happened before the challenge, after the challenge, where Ozzy was saying, okay, let's get rid of Cochran, but did he actually say that, like, before the challenge? And they edited it to look like it was after it.
They could have done that. I mean, that's actually probably what they did. I'm sure they edited a lot of things to make them seem like characters and stuff, and to add suspense. So, yeah.
And cause that wasn't even a close vote. That was 7-1. That was unanimous. And so I was at least expecting 2 votes to Cochran, or 3 votes.
Yeah, I'm guessing from that they probably did edit it, because that, unless they all just changed their mind and were like, Samar.
Right. So, what else happened in this episode? Oh, the alliance, the Upolu alliance. Supposedly, on night 1, there was the alliance formed between, I can't remember all the players, Coach, Brandon, and Sophie, but I can't remember the other 2. I don't know if Edna was included in there.
I don't think she was. I'd have to look back, I think, and I've only watched the episode on the live night, but yeah, I think she wasn't. I'm not sure.
Like, because she had an alliance with Coach, but I don't know if she was, like, there on night 1. So, do you think that this 5-person alliance will survive the rest of the game, or do you think it was just sort of something the producers threw in?
I think it was something the producers kind of threw in, because I don't think that 5 people can go all the way without getting on each other's nerves. I mean, at least one of them will probably vote one of them off.
Right.
Yeah, because
So-
I don't think it's possible for 5 to stay together.
Well, we saw Zapatera, their 6 would have stuck together, probably, and the Ometepe 6 stayed together.
But once again, that was a tribe. That wasn't necessarily an alliance.
True. So what did you think of Brandon Hance, the nephew of Russell Hance, coming into the game?
I think it was a major twist. I mean, it gives the suspense of, will anyone find out? Or when will they find out, if they do?
Do you think they will find out?
I think that it's very possible. I think that he will either just come clean so that he doesn't look so suspicious, and hope that they acknowledge that he is a different person, or he'll just be, he'll accidentally give it away. Like, someone will see one of his 2 tattoos.
Right. And when will... I think they're going to find out. I think it's impossible to hide it, especially from the previews of the next episode, which premieres Wednesday, that I think it's just going to happen. Either episode 2, episode 3 is going to happen.
Yeah, that's what the previews definitely made it look like.
And